Good morning, students. As a part of the sequence of the video lectures, today we will go for learning about the function of organizing or the organization in the business organization subject for become first semester students. Already in the earlier class, we have learned what is organization and what are the various contextual and conceptual areas of organization. Today we will go for learning of the process how and what will be for organization and what is the advantages or the importance of the organization. First of all, let us go for the discussion of the process of organization. Process in the sense the sequential arrangement of the actions to be performed in a particular area of given situation. That will be called as process. It's a systematized way of doing the things. Right? So now in the process of organization, if you observe, there are 5 steps in the process of organization. The first step of the process of the organization leads with the determination of objectives. The second step is enumeration of objectives. And the third step is classification of the activities. The fourth step is assignment of duties. And the fifth step is delegation of authority. So now let us go for the learning of the first step of the process of organization. That is what? Determination of objectives. What actually it is? Actually, every organization is always related to certain objectives. Why there is a need of organization? There may be some motto, there may be some vision, there may be some mission, there will be some objectives. So whenever there is an organization, there are objectives. Or the intricating objectives compel somebody or something towards to go into the form of an organization. So this means every organization wants to endure their objectives, and without objectives there is no organization. So the first and foremost thing for organization is to enunciate or to identify and to fix what are their objectives and what would be their objectives. And for what purpose the organization stands for which purpose it is, what are the basic objectives for which the organization stands for. That is the first and foremost question. So why this? This step helps the management not only in framing the organization structure but also in achieving the enterprise objectives with minimum waste of time and with the minimum cost of resources. So the objectives make ourselves go in a planned manner, in a systematic manner, in a directed manner. And as far as our focus is on the goals or objectives of the organization, henceforth the wastage of time and the wastage of resources can be eradicated or minimized with helping the organization to go for achieving the objectives with minimum cost and minimum time, utilization of minimum time. Henceforth, this will be the first and foremost step in the case of the organization, that is determination of objectives. Now the second one, enumeration of objectives. When once the objectives are determined, now the second question comes here is enumeration of objectives. What to do under the enumeration? Generally, if you if you want to know the meaning of enumeration, enumeration means counting. Enumeration means pointing out. Enumeration means fixing out. In such a way, we use the word enumeration. So what is the enumeration of objectives? If the members of the group are to pool their efforts effectively, there must be proper division of labor, proper division of major activities. So the first step in organizing group effort is the division of the total jobs into essential actions and activities. Each job should be properly classified and grouped, and this will enable the people to know what is expected by them towards the organization as well as towards the group in which they are being residing in it or attached to that. Henceforth, the enumeration of objectives make a person to come to a conclusion, to come to an awareness level, to find out what is expected by him or her, by the organization or by the group or by the department or the functionary area to which he or she belongs to as an employee or a worker. Henceforth, the enumeration of objectives is essential. What is the connectivity here? In the case of the objective determination, making the organization to venture into a proper direction. Further, the first step is. The second step is, when once the objectives are determined, the objectives are further being gone for knowing out what actually, how many they are and what is their nature and scope and how they can be allocated to the people for achieving those objectives, and the persons should also know that what is expected during the course of their association with the group or by the organization. Henceforth, here it is some part of going in towards accountability or to providing them or adhering them some responsibility to an individual person as far as the employee or the worker or the human resource in the organization is concerned, or the department or to the group is concerned. Now the third step is classification of activities. When once the enumeration of objectives have been done, now the next step is to classify the activities according to the similarities and common purposes and functions, and tasking the human and material resources into the account. Then closely related and similar activities are grouped into divisions and departments, and the departmental activities are further divided into several sections. Here the question here is tasking, activities, grouping. So how many tasks are there? The activities are being subdivided into tasks. When once the tasks have been there, then they will be going for putting together as a group, and hence the actions will be divided here. So here the similar people, the similar activities which are conducted by some people in the organization will be put together as a segment or as a category, and as for that the tasks will be asked to be done by the employees. Here this is the third step of the classification of activities. What happens with this actually? There is no ambiguity. This makes the person to read no more under ambiguity, no dilemma, no confusion, no delay or no misunderstanding. The role clarity is provided, the situation clarity is provided, the task clarity is provided, the group clarity is provided. For that, this third step, that is what? Classification of activities is essential. Now let us go to the fourth step, assignment of duties. What actually the assignment of duties? Here specific job assignments are made to different subordinates for ensuring a certainty of work performance. Each individual should be given a specific job to do accordingly to his ability or her ability, and will be made responsible for that. So the person should be given the adequate authority to do the job. Right? So when once the authority is given and the assignment of the duties have been done, automatically the persons will know that particularly what is expected, how much is expected, and what the nature of the actions and activities to be done by them, and what is the assignment provided to that particular employee. Here, the clarity of doing the job and what is expected by the organization is being provided here by the way of assignment of the duty. Duty means the nature of work to be done. So that will be spelled under the assignment of the duty. Individually, every employee or every human being or every human resource in the organization will be given either the functional area wise or the department wise or the group wise provided what to do, when should be done, to what extent to be done, when it is to be completed. All such things will be clarified here under the assignment of duties. And the last one is delegation of authority. When once the responsibility is given, when once the task is given, now the question comes here, the delegation of authority. Here there are two terms. One is authority and the second one is responsibility. These are the two things here which are supposed to be judiciously used and to be provided. For example, if the authority is given and there is no responsibility, it is very dangerous. Misutilization of power will come in because there is no responsibility. It is just like a stone in the hands of a madman. Authority is given and there is no responsibility. And the second thing, responsibility is given and there is no authority. It is also a merely very sarcastic situation. Responsibility is given, but the power to discharge the things required and to make the person's work as per the requirement. For example, there is a manager. There are some subordinates. The manager is asked to complete certain targets, but there is no power. How the manager will control the subordinates who are working under him or her as a manager? So there is a need of authority also. So the discretionary power on the part of a person is to be provided by way of providing some authority also to justify the given responsibility for accomplishment. Henceforth, the fifth step deals with the delegation of authority along with the responsibility. When once the delegation of authority along with the responsibility is given, automatically the organization starts functioning from the top level to the bottom level. That is the way how the work of organization will function. Now let us go for the understanding of the importance or advantages of the organization. The first one, increased managerial efficiency. As I told you, as everything is clarity here being provided by way of the structure or the process of the organization, then what is late? Every manager functions much more efficiently from time to time. That enhances the level of managerial efficiency. Earlier maybe 50%, now it may be 80%. That is possible with the help of this organizational process. So the more the managerial efficiency, the more the productivity, the lesser the wastage, the higher the margin, the more the growth and development of the organization. Henceforth, managerial efficiency is enhanced. Because why it is? It is because everybody knows what are their roles, what are their objectives, what are their tasks, what are their targets, and what to do, when to do, and how much to do, and where to do. So all these things are clarified. Then there is no delay. Managerial efficiency will increase. Next one, proper utilization of resources. As I told, there is a clarity in everything. There is a control also. When once there is a control, automatically the resources which are always scarce will be utilized properly and the wastage is mitigated. Such results into higher output, higher productivity on the part of the organization. Sound or effective communication. Here there is a clarity in the organization. during the process, and everybody knows to whom they are responsible and to what extent they are accountable and to whom they are supposed to report and provide report. So, the instructions from whom to take, the responses to whom to provide, in both top to down communication and down to top communication. When once this is there, automatically there is no question of any wrong communication or mismanagement of communication, and effective communication takes place, and there is a clarity, there is no misunderstanding, proper understanding, proper decision making and proper implementation that will come under. Communication is the lifeblood of any organization. If the communication is effective, everything is effective. If communication is not proper or insufficient, automatically it will enter into doldrums. Next one is effective coordination. When everything is clarity provided here, every person knows with whom they are supposed to work, how they are to associate with the others, what is their relationship with the others, and how they have to behave either individually or in the groups or in the organization as a whole. They know everything. For that, the coordination will be there. And there is a support, there is a sharing, there is a concern, there is a relativity. And that leads to effective coordination. The next item is increases in specialization. When once everything is clear, automatically the innovative areas, the specialized people will start functioning in a specialized manner with their specialized knowledge. Automatically specialization increases, quality increases, quantity increases, productivity increases, and the margin increases. Last one is helpful in expansion. There is an end, sky is the limit. When once everything is there, when the organization is effective, day by day it grows and grows and grows, and there is a huge scope of either vertical expansion of the organization or the horizontal expansion of the organization, or even diversified expansion and growth of the organization also. Why it is? Because of the way it is being organized. Henceforth, these are the things which we have discussed today, the process of organization and the importance of the organization or the advantages of the organization. In the next class, we will be going to learn about much more things as far as the organization structure is concerned. Thank you very much.